Okay, we are recording. That was quick.
Okay.
So my name's Nicole, network specialist with SWACH, and I'm here to introduce just the Blackboard LMS tool that we've started using. Just a brief background, we were using the Litmos LMS, it's Litmos, and just want to give some fair warning that we did have significant amount of technical issues with that system. There was a lack of response from them when we did run into issues. We have a big community-based workforce, so lots of users using it, and just multiple reports on their end that they weren't able to log in, the forgot password wasn't working. And then inside, it wouldn't show when courses were completed. It wouldn't show, even when they answered a question on an assessment, it wouldn't show that that was completed. So it was just like there was so many issues, and we weren't getting a good enough response that we decided, okay, we're going to look into something different. So Blackboard has been solely a project of my own. I know that's a common question that we get, is that like, how many people do you have working in the LMS? Is this like too big of a load? And I can say that with Litmos, it was requiring too much of my time that I didn't have to give, right? But ever since coming into Blackboard, it's just so much more intuitive of a system and easier to use. And I've had, some pretty good feedback from the community-based workforce as well. It's actually kind of fun to put courses together. Just for example, Litmos actually required a level of coding just to be able to brand things and, create your login page and things like that. It required coding, right? I don't know how to code. So coming into Blackboard was just so refreshing. And I can say honestly that it doesn't, require, more than one employee to be able to manage on the admin side so far, right? This is still beginning stages, so I just want to do a quick run through of where we're at, and then talk a little bit about where we want to go with it. So this is just the general check-in page, or the login page here. You can add, which I like. I haven't used this tool yet, but you can add like different links to things right here. So if there's like a training going on this month, like sponsored by Healthcare Authority, you can provide that link here, just things that you want them to be aware of. It's kind of like a home screen where they can kind of see what's happening. And just overview for like training in general. What we do is we have our common practices and principles training that is for new community-based workers coming on to a partnered relationship with us. We provide that in-person training, and we have our Health Connect cohort meetings, which is a once a month meeting that is kind of covers 4 key elements. It has training, professional development, access to resources, and networking. So those are kind of our 4 components that fall under why we're doing this meeting. And then we have our LMS system. So I am in Basevi's account here, but you will see the user's name right here. And then if you go to courses, you'll have all the courses here. So we'll just take a look here. So HIPAA is one of our mandatory annual trainings.
And so when you do these trainings, you actually host it and utilize Blackboard. Is that how this is utilized?
This is utilized on their own time. So
Oh,
what
okay.
we do is, so for we've made November our annual training month, since the cohort meeting's always canceled for Thanksgiving. We just decided, well, let's just make it for everybody. It'll be easier on the admin side,
Mhm.
not to be sending out everyone's anniversary annual trainings and things like that. So we just made it 1 month for everybody, the month of November. And we have our 3 annual trainings that they'll do inside. And so like I took off the due date because we're past that, but I made the due date here, attest please sign here by, and then I put the due date there. So this first page kind of just explains, you know, what the training is, what it contains. There'll be a 15-minute video followed by 10-question exam to test your knowledge of HIPAA.
Did you guys put that video together in those questions, or was that provided
Yeah,
to you?
so they had this video already, which is, I think, generic enough for any ACH to use.
But I'm not alone. 1/3 of the pop.
Sorry, we'll get through the ads here. That does have Swatch on it, but I think, yeah, our Uncommon Solutions
Yes,
made it.
Uncommon Solutions supported us to
Okay.
develop it, but it's could be available for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we just link it to there. Oh, I gotta get back to my. So you can add the link, and then the assessment questions you can add in here. And then you can put in the answers so that it grades automatically, which I have found is easier for assessments. So that way they're not waiting on me to be able to grade it. So
Good to know.
So as the admin, you can go in. That's weird. Where did that option go? It's not showing me for that one. Might be because it's Basevi's. I'm not sure. Let's look at home visiting. So home visiting safety is our other annual training that we have in the LMS. And this one I had a lot of fun putting together. I kind of grouped home visiting with outreach safety because we've got a lot of outreach workers as well. And so linking to, so there's our explanation of what this training looks like, what it will entail. Link to the video. Don't want you to play.
So you have a video for that as well. Okay.
Yeah, this one though was from Oregon Health Authority, and I've looked very hard for training courses on home visiting, and this was the best one I could find. And then I started seeing this video pop up and like training modules in Texas and other states, and I was like, okay, this must be the best one out there.
I see.
So
Okay.
I can send you all of this information. And Patrick, I can actually make you a user so that you can get in here and look around on your own time.
That would be awesome.
If you learn better that way, for sure. But what I did with this one that was a little different that I had fun with was a discussion question. So you can make it to where they have to kind of view things in order, or just access however they want. It's up to you. So doing the discussion question though was kind of fun. So please add one safety tip you took from the content and one safety tip of your own that you utilize in your work environment. So this one was really cool just to see like everyone, you know, engaging in that way and together and being able to read each other's responses and what they do, and really just like, you know, elevating them to be able to share what they do.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the discussion has a lot of promise to be a good way to, you know, promote engagement and interaction in that way. And then the grades and participation, I'll show you go here. His looks a little different than mine, but it's pretty simple. You know, I'm just going through, I just want to change it to, you know, those who need grading, which looks like no one yet, but I'm not doing tardiness. I'm not doing, you know, lost points. It's basically just participation because I want them to, I want it to show up on their side that they've gotten 100% for completing it and things like that. If they're going to submit it, you know, a week late, I'm not going to, you know, it's not about the grading necessarily. It's just like, we want you to do it and to learn and interact.
And they can do this on their own time, right? Again,
yes.
They can go. Okay.
Right. Like we gave a month. We gave a month for them to complete the.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, I just put in 100%, and then you know, those that haven't done it yet, we've got a very big user list. I'm up to like 120 right now. So you know, I have to like, I'm still organizing my lists of who's contracted with us and who's not. You know, when we introduced Blackboard, I made it clear that, you know, for those who are not contracted with us in Pathways or another program, this
Mhm.
is just meant to be an optional resource.
Mhm.
You know, it's not required, right? And so I have to suss out the folks that it
I
was
see what you're
required
saying. I
for.
see what you're saying. Okay, so
Yeah.
for the people that are pathways,
Hmm.
they have to go through all of these trainings, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I've got a few different lists going, and then still figuring out how to, you know, you know, make that connection of, okay, so, you know, didn't get these done this month. Let's try for this month, or, you know,
Right. I see. Okay.
yeah.
So
So
if you
home
go
visiting.
back, yeah,
Yeah.
are you going to go through all of these or
I don't have to. The only thing I was going to show you as well was our cohort ones. The January Health Connect cohort was at the end of last month. And this is also where we keep any documents and resources that were shared during the meeting, any of the kudos that they kind of, you know, they send in kudos to kind of lift up their coworkers.
I see. Okay.
And we share those here. And then the attendance feedback form is always linked in here so that we can keep, you know, good data on who attends those meetings.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys utilize Blackboard for pretty much all of its capacity. So it's not just
We're
like, hey, here's
trying
one
to.
course.
Yeah.
Just take your one course. You guys have it to where it sounds like from what it looks like, a lot of the cohorts go in there and they meet up and they go through the training collectively.
Mhm.
And it sounds like there's a number of trainings that you guys provide on their own time. Um, because earlier you said you do was it common
Oh, yeah.
bases and practices? Is that what
Mhm.
that's called?
Common principles and practices. Yeah.
Yes. Is that you said that's in person, but do you use um Blackboard as well?
So yeah, we could actually walk through that because that was one of the things I was going to do,
Okay.
was just get the content in there. If you want to see, you know, just like how to build a course and what that looks like, we could run through that right now. Um, the the curriculum changes always a little bit, but for the most part, the topics are the same in that
I see.
training.
Okay. And
So we were going to just
if you
have
had a
the content in here.
okay, and if you already had like a planned idea of what you wanted to talk about, go ahead and do that. I'm sorry if I'm like
No, no,
derailing you.
this is organic
Okay.
conversation. I just, you know, had the login issues, so wasn't able to get it uploaded ahead of time. But
I see. And I see pathways activation training. Is that what is that?
yeah, these are the links to so we've also used the LMS to be a resource for folks in the Pathways activation training. So when they're doing their week-long, Michelle's doing her week-long Pathways activation training. Sorry. And I'll come on the first day and make sure everyone gets, you know, set up in Blackboard, gets their login and stuff, and make sure
Mhm.
everyone gets logged in, and then assign them to this course first. So this is really initially their first contact with Blackboard.
Okay.
And it kind of has just the resources that they would typically get, say, in an email.
I see.
And it has the videos. And I believe these are like the actual Reading videos
Is that
of the
from
trainings. Oh,
yeah.
so
Oh,
it's
it's
CCS.
CCS.
Yeah, it's CCS.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's where we store that information as well.
And so I apologize, you said Michelle, she does the
Mhm.
training and that
Mhm.
how long is the like initial pathways training? Is that like a week long or how long do you guys do that?
Yeah, I think she does 9 to noon for the Monday through Friday. So 1 week from 9
Okay.
to noon is typically what the training is. And so that was kind of where I was going with, you know, where we want to go with Blackboard and utilizing Blackboard. We're actually working on right now restructuring the whole training because the Pathways training, you know, I'm not sure about for you guys, but it's just a lot of Michelle talking about important points, you know, every question in the
Right.
CHR, you know, on each individual pathway. It's a lot of
Yeah.
information for them. And, you know, to be able to sit there and have to retain everything and an important little word that Michelle says, because it is all really important. You know, it's hard for them. So we've
Exactly.
started recording Michelle doing
Okay.
each pathway separately. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a training video in Blackboard to where they can kind of listen to her and go through each training in Blackboard.
I see. Okay.
And then
And
have the training be more interactive, like actually practicing things,
oh, that's a good
working
idea.
in breakout rooms. Yeah, just to be more interactive rather than just like
Okay.
talking. Yeah.
And is that Michelle's only role? Is like her role to be just the trainer?
She's operations, like all things operations in Health Connect.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, so all of the programs really and how it's running through the hub is her thing. It's just, you know, and she would probably gladly give up the training part, but she's the one who has all the information. Like,
Right.
it's so much information those trainings are, and so we're really hoping to be able to break it up. So we're going to do it pathway by pathway, you know, and we'll have some assessment questions after, just to make sure they're grasping the important parts.
Mhm.
And then make the trainings more interactive, and it'll be a place where, you know, folks can go back and, because they'll be thinking, oh, what did she say about this? I don't remember on the housing pathway, you know, if it's for individual risk or family risk, or, you know, and so they can go back to that video when they have a question,
I see.
and review it. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the big things that we get on our end with questions from CHWs is how to like maximize the number of pathways instead of just doing one pathway at a time. How do you link pathways together? You know, like doing education with social service referral, with a home medical referral one. So do you guys have like a section that talks about that as well? Like how to think outside the box as far as what pathways to utilize?
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the goals, is to
I
make sure
see.
that that's
Okay.
really clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because with these standard video, it is, but it isn't, and you know, and it's a lot of sitting through videos to get to what you want. So
I
yeah,
see.
making
And
that really clear.
at the end of the videos, do they have to answer some questions or anything like that?
Not right here. This is more so just a resource for them to refer to while they're in the training.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but that's the hope, is that we'll make it more of like a training series with learning modules for each pathway, you know.
Right.
And this is just linking here to the overview.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah. So you just using this as one big source of
Yeah.
information and training for everybody. So it's like a one-stop shop. I see.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're doing for our training as of right now, what we developed is a 4-day in-person training, mainly through PowerPoint, and then at each section we'll do like scenarios, like 4 or 5 scenarios for them to
Yeah.
go through in person with each other, so that they know what process to go through and how to maximize the pathways. So that we're kind of like in the beginning stages of developing our training. But this seems like a good use source as well. The Blackboard. I think we're going to try to combine what you guys are doing with like our
Yeah,
process right now.
exactly.
What else can you show me?
Yeah, let's see. So that's what we have so far for our courses. Let's see. You can view everyone in the course here. And this is also how you'll enroll new users.
Okay.
By adding the little add mark right here. And then if you just go to the admin center, it is really pretty pretty intuitive on how it all works. If you want to go to courses, let's say I just want to create a new course.
Oh, okay.
I've learned, so I was in the course ID, I was adding like a 01 here, just because that's what Jeremy and I started doing. But when I create the Excel sheets, the master Excel sheet, to add all of the users into the course, like a bulk upload, it changes that one and it numbers it all the way down. And
Oh
so
no.
and so
Oh,
then I
that's
have to
annoying.
manually go in. So don't do the numbers in the course ID. No numbers in the course ID.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow. So this looks, so just even create a course looks like it's very intuitive as far
it
as,
is very intuitive.
okay.
Yes. And, like Blackboard is commonly used in a lot of community colleges, things like that. And so, that's what got Eric and I thinking, this might actually be a really good resource that we can share, that ACHs across can really kind of become more uniformed in the trainings we're offering. And like this is in beginning baby stages right now. But the plans that we have to like hopefully just be able to share resources, share trainings, things like that, and become uniformed in what we're offering. And to really
Wow.
work
Yeah.
together on building it too, because
Dude, that would be awesome if we could like make it uniform for all the ACHs as far as training. That
yes,
would be awesome.
I mean, and it makes sense, right? I mean, we
Exactly.
are,
Yeah.
we are the ones like really elevating that space for community health workers. So
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So if you think about it, Patrick, in a community college or what have you, you have different departments. They're all using Blackboard. They're not tripping over each other or stumbling over another. Blackboard's set up for that kind of
right.
like a system which is an infrastructure to support multiple approaches, but you're not confusing. You have access to the same resources, but you can have, each teacher, each class can create its own curriculum, but yet you could pull from other curriculum across the board.
I
So
see.
you see the opportunity there if we're really serious about creating some kind of standardized platform as a resource for hubs for community-based workforce and sharing resources. If you develop something and we're all over it, Patrick, that's amazing, we would love to use it. It's right there if we're already on board with Blackboard.
Right.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind, man, as far as us being able to, again, share resources.
Yep.
That's a great idea. Holy moly. Okay. Huh.
I'm gonna step onto mute because I have to pick up some kids, but please carry on. And you
Okay,
might
yeah.
want to show the Nicole, if it's not too unwieldy to do it at the same time, your idea of putting the common principles in practice in place makes sense. But if it's unwieldy or you think that it would not be a good use of time,
Yeah.
however you want to do it.
Yeah. I was just going to do one of them and just kind of show like it's actually pretty fun, right? And it just, so, and you can put hidden from students right here. And then when you're ready for it to be visible, change it right there. And then just the last thing. So this is just getting started on a course. And then when you are ready to add everyone, I have all the users in an Excel sheet, and it's just really simple. The username is first name dot last name, and the first column will be the course ID, and the second column is all the usernames. So I just kind of keep working off that Excel sheet and saving a copy each time I have a new course ID, and you can bulk upload all the users, and it's really simple that way. Yeah, it's great. So I'll just kind of add the training topics here. We've got ethics, self-care and boundaries. We've got popular education, cross-cultural skills. And, I'll just mark that these are from the fall 2022 training because they will change and we can kind of keep uploading them if there's new material. But
I see. Okay.
So also meant to just be a resource and for anyone to access if they want. I'm still working on right now how to give supervisors permissions to be able to see their staff's work and progress, and so that they can kind of be the ones to be like, oh, hey, Joe, you need to, finish your HIPAA training, or, whatever that is. Still working on that. Also, still working on, what was I going to say? I'm not sure where I was going with that. Oh, I kind of talked about just like having, the required users versus just optional resource. And then, just how to maybe link registration for the common principles and practices through Blackboard, just so that it becomes like a uniformed place for everyone to use for trainings associated with SWACH, so everyone knows where to look, type of thing. And I think that's one of the hopes too, is to be able to keep resources and important things all in one place, so that everyone knows where to look. And I'm always, letting people know that if you've got anyone else on your team, contracted with SWACH or not, and you want them to have access to these trainings and resources, and you'd like them to have an account, just send me their name and email and I'll get them in there.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Shoot. This is amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as in-person training, does Michelle like bring like paperwork or PowerPoint that she does for the training, or does she just do it right off of Blackboard?
She's got all her own stuff. Yeah, she's got a PowerPoint to Michelle for Pathways. Yeah, and she's doing virtual mostly. We did one in person last year, but it's just easier with our region. So she's doing virtual typically, and so it's a lot of sitting on Zoom and PowerPoints, and she'll walk through the CHR as well. So there's some other, resources I need to upload as far as like CHR handbook and things like that I was going to have in here.
So potentially then the pathways, all of the pathways kind of training and the CHR training could be through Blackboard, potentially.
Right.
You could do it all in Blackboard.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping to be able to, have a link for registration that I can send out through Blackboard, so that it's, even if it's an in-person, this is where they register, this is where they get their manuals or whatever they're going to need. You know what I mean? I'm hoping, yeah, that'll be the case. And then, yeah, I mean, in the future, ACHs can share that information and see what the curriculum they're using, and yeah.
Because I think the long end target for us would behoove us that we are doing all of the same training.
Right.
Like you and Eric are saying, I think that's a great idea. I think we should meet sometime in the future on how we could accomplish that going forward. You, me, and Michelle and my training team. I think that would be great for us.
I do too.
I'm stoked for that potentially happening. I don't want to lose sight of that. I think we should come back around and talk about that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, for us, I think for me, the takeaway for me is being able to utilize Blackboard more for our training, potentially even putting all of our CHW training on there. I like that. I also like the fact that you have a HIPAA training that they have to do once a year only on Blackboard, because we do an annual HIPAA training in person, and it's a nightmare trying to get all of the CHWs scheduled for one meeting, and then there's always like 4 or 5 people, I can't make it, and then we have to reschedule for those 4 or 5 people. So I think that's a great idea to just have it on one platform for them to take on their own. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So that's another thing to look into, I think, when we meet with Blackboard IT, is how will this look with, other ACHs using it and their users. It's kind of like teachers teaching the same course, right? They have their students. So how do we, I don't know exactly how we would do that to keep our users separate and things like that, but there's got to be a way. I mean, this is, the same using standards that colleges would have. So
yeah, exactly. Would we be able to meet with Michelle and talk to her about how she does her training and get her insights on this as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll meet with her and try to pick her brain with training on this as well.
Anything else about Blackboard that you have
Not
questions?
that I can think
on?
of.
No?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's
Yeah.
stop the recording.